Well, good afternoon, everyone. This first alert weather day. If you've experienced a low, which many of us have, that could be changing. Certainly as we go through the next several hours, we're tracking a lot more building up from the south. But periods of rain today could be heavy at times, certainly under any one of those storms if we get one. And we'll be monitoring maybe for a little small hail or a gusty wind. But generally the severe threat stays to our west. But it's the heavy rainfall that's going to be the big concern, creating ponding on the roadways, limiting visibility. You can get that poor drainage flooding that develops. Of course, smaller streams and creeks will be on the rise. We've already seen a couple of, river flood warnings. We'll get to that in just a bit. But look at the radar has started to really blossom in the past 30 minutes to an hour, not so much to the east, but to the west. We have these downpours basically traveling from south to north over areas that have already seen well over 3 inches of rainfall. And again, we have areas to the south of Long Island. We have a big blob of stormy weather. Again, that's all going to be lifting up in our direction as well. So basically from here on out, expect things to kind of, change pretty dramatically outside for some of us. Trumbull, got a report from a gentleman, he was asking me, is it true that my rain gauge says about 4 inches? Yeah, it's definitely a possibility where we're seeing some of that river flooding going on. We've got Monroe, Newtown, you're seeing the downpours. This is all lifting over an area that's seen over 3-4 inches of rainfall. Woodbury, for example. Now that heavy rain's up through Banton, it's up through Litchfield, it's up through Torrington. And this is going to be the case as we go through at least the next hour. This is going to be your main zone for the downpours. But look at that. In 1 hour from now, giving you that first alert along the immediate shoreline, Milford, into New Haven. That's that secondary area, and this is going to be taking over the state as we head into the afternoon hours. So that's only going to aggravate some of the flooding that's ongoing or create a new flooding situation on an isolated level. So flood warning at least until this evening. The Housatonic River, that may be extended even longer, and the Still River experiencing minor flooding from all that rain we've been receiving. Additional amounts, well, one model showing over 1/2 inch to 1 inch locally, but as we know, sometimes there can be those surprise downpours on a localized level that could be even higher than that. I mean, check out the amounts. 4 inches in Bristol. Just shy of that. Woodbury Center, New Hartford, Norfolk. Now you're talking about, 2.5 inches, Berlin, and then Wethersfield, close to 1.5 inches of rainfall. So again, it's very localized. Some of the amounts a little higher than others. But look at this. By 2 o'clock, yeah, certainly this particular model picking up on what's coming up from the south, and it's going to be moving in through the early afternoon. So if there's things you need to get done, do it now before that rain takes over, or wait until this evening, because notice the coverage really drops off even before the sun goes down. Things start to improve. Again, the severe threat greatest to our west, but too close of enough of a call to just completely rule out a little hail or a gusty wind producer. And yeah, that river is certainly raging there in Torrington, and what we're seeing, yes, green conditions in New Haven from all the rain, and this rain's going to continue to lift up. There it is, that next round that's going to be moving through this afternoon. So the low that's been stingy hanging around, this is going to be moving northeastward, so conditions will be getting better over time. What is best right now is the pollen count, but that will start to climb into the moderate range. So we're right now in the 60s and going to be hanging in the 60s for highs this afternoon. An isolated shower possible tomorrow, and then later in the day on Thursday, and then here comes a steadier, heavier round, prompting another first alert weather day on Friday, and then over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, showers early and then moving out in Mother's Day. Wow, that's looking and timing out perfectly with a beautiful day. 75 degrees, 79 by Monday. We'll continue to track that activity live for you coming up here in just a few minutes.